We meet again, and it's very festive today. You get to see my tree that goes up like an umbrella. I always laugh because it goes when I think of all the years I used to put a real tree in the house, and this is really easy. All right. So since we're seated, let's stay there. And we're just gonna bring the feet out, point and flex, relax the back because you're probably a little bit tight in your hips and your back. It's nice to have another direction to look and see things differently, which is nice. Now, opposites. So we're going to alternate. Now, open your legs wider and let's circle. So rotate through the ankle space. And when you rotate out, allow the femur and the hip to rotate outside so that you're working all the way up to the very top of the leg. So the rotation is coming, it might be directed from the foot, but you're stirring that hip, feeling that rotation all the way up. Okay, now let's reverse this. Nothing wrong with stirring that upper part of the femur in your hip. Feels good, feels good. Okay, so now we're seated nice and tall. While we're here, let's just relax. Most of us are going to be tight. We might be here. So what you want to do is just kind of relax your back in a place where you feel like you have more of a forward fold. Just let it relax. And then watch your head and neck, okay? So don't let your head go all the way down, but let your shoulders be the guide of where the head and neck go. And if you want to just put your hands beside you to feel the roundness, that curve of the back, like a letter C that's kind of floppy, and then come out of it. Good. All righty. Let's move ourselves nice and flat. Okay. So placing something under your head weight if you're comfortable there. Now, we're going to begin thinking of this from the top of our head down to our feet. The fundamentals are always so essential. I know each week we go over things the same. Sometimes we lose sight of the fundamentals, so it's good to review. So the first thing I want you to do is if your head is flat, I want you to draw your chin forward just a little bit so that there's length to the back of your neck. Bringing your arms up to the ceiling, plug your shoulders to the upper part of the arm, plug it down into your shoulder girdle, but then what happens is your scapula gets nice and flat. The serratus anterior, the muscle group here, it draws down. Okay. Now, while you're in that position, wrap your arms around you, but don't lift up and cuddle, okay? So keeping the shoulder girdle down, wrap the arms around you. Now, in this position, before we even go down the spine, I want you to lift the head and then drop it. So there's a contraction and drop it. Again, just lift. I want you to feel the space there. Okay. Now, going down the spine, I want you to push. It's almost like I have my foot right here between your breastbone, and it's pushing that part of your back down. Down the spine to where behind that waistline, to the tailbone, and feel the flatness of your back. Now, in this position, you roll side to side. Feel the pressure. You're pushing down into the floor. You're feeling parts of your back and spine. And then come set. Drawing your arms beside you. We're going to take our legs long, and we're going to keep them open, as wide as the hip. So don't make it as wide as your mat because nobody's hips are that wide. You're going to just have it as wide as your hips. So with your arms down, you know that when our legs are flat, there's a little bit of a curve, a lower lumbar hyperextension of the back in this position. Don't worry, we're not going to stay here long. So the first thing I want you to do is turn your toes out. So I've turned them out. We're going to go into what we call Pilates V. Now, draw your legs together with your heels together and toes out. So this is Pilates V. Okay. Good. So we're thinking of that whole spine. We're on the floor now. Point those toes. Good. Okay. So in this position, bringing your arms up to the ceiling, plugging in, we're going to do that same nod and bow. Reach the arm. So you're not coming up. You're just reaching and coming down. And again, reach, inhale. When you come down and you inhale, you expand that rib cage and that chest. Keep that Pilates V. You're feeling it in the upper part of the quad, I'm sure. One more. And release it. Good. Okay. Now, drawing your knees up. So bring them in. Let your feet just go neutral. You're going to hold this. Now, if you can, cross your ankles. So what happens is then the knees go to the outside, the hips move to the outside, okay? Holding on to the lower part of the leg, which is where the tibia and the fibula are, okay, bony tissue there. You can hold in that space. If you feel that you want to hold the feet, go for it. There's really no difference. It's just a different place you're putting your hand, okay? So I want you to spread that back. You can feel that lower back spreading. Good. Okay. So we're going to release the left leg all the way down to the floor, and we're going to flex the foot. The dorsiflex it. That means the toes are up to the ceiling. Hands on the lower part of the right leg, drawing this in as tight as you can. So your spine is long. You're feeling that strength in your back. You're going to keep the left hand on the leg and release the right arm all the way out to the side. So it stays within the shoulder girdle. So you're going to inhale. And as you exhale, you're going to draw this leg across the body. Now, one of the best ways to really get deep into that piriformis is to keep this knee as tight and close to you as you can. Now do this slow. You're just warming up. Release it back. Right leg down. Okay, so left knee's coming in. We're drawing it tight. Dorsiflex that right leg. Use the strength of this leg to keep it long. Keep the right hand on and the left hand down. Shoulders are nice and wide. So inhale. And as you exhale, same thing. We're drawing this across. So if my tushy lifts, that's perfectly fine. But the left shoulder should stay down. If it's not, you need to shorten this. You need to keep this in this direction to keep the shoulder down. Inhale, exhale back. Good. Okay, so we're going to go right into a single leg circle. We're going to do it. We're going to try something from a different perspective because I love fundamentals. So keeping that back. So here, see this line I'm drawing. We're going to tip under, keeping that back long. This is what we call imprinting. You're going to take the right leg up. We're going to point the toe. Just lower it. Flex the foot at the bottom and raise it. Point it and raise it. Now, all the while, I'm sure you're thinking about that beautiful long leg you got going. But what I want you to really think about is the imaginary seat belt that you have that's connected to your floor. And it's going to come over those hips and keep those hips so quiet. It's going to remind you also to draw in your abdominals, lower, middle, and upper rectus. Now leg goes down, Come, bring that into a bent knee. So the left leg goes long, flexing the foot. You're going to raise it up, point the toe. Inhale, exhale. You might not hear me breathing because I'm trying to speak, but don't forget the breath. Part of the 6 core components to the Pilates movements. The other is fluidity of the movement. You want to think through it. You don't want to just throw your body into it. Bending the knee. Good. Okay, so now take that left leg and lower it. Completely long, foot is flexed. I like you to always contract those legs, but keeping that left leg nice and flexed. So bringing the right leg in without support. You're not going to put your hands behind. You're going to keep your hands to the floor because you're really going to try to use gravity and your body weight. This is what makes us stronger. So with your leg in tabletop, you're going to raise the leg to the ceiling and point the toe. So if we're going to do a circle, which is not really a circle, it's an oval. Don't let them kid you. We need to keep lower rectus abdominis really tight, transverse abdominals. Pull in that lowest belly above the pubic bone. Bring the leg across the body, right over the floor, and outside, even as it is across the body. Inhale, exhale. So I have you doing it slow, methodical, because if I had you whipping your legs around, your whole body would go with you. Don't let anybody kid you, especially if you watch any Pilates videos where they're throwing their legs around real fast. It's not the best way to do Pilates. You want to slow it down. Let's put it this way. It's not the safest way. Now, flex the foot and reverse the movement. Outside, across the body, and up. So keep it even. If I had a ruler, I could measure the movement as it's going outside and inside. Inhale and exhale. One more. Good. Bring it center. Bring the knee in. Once again, hands below. So we're over. And a lot of times it gives us that opportunity to really stretch out the back. And it's okay if this leg goes outside. As a matter of fact, let's try to do that. So keep the right hand on the lower leg and let's open the leg outside. So you feel, when we do our circles, the groin, the inner thigh, you really feel as you're coming back into that circle. You can sometimes feel that initiate. You should be anyway. And release. Shake it out. And while you're shaking it out, feel the length of that and the relaxing part of that muscle. So for the left side, we're in that tabletop. Take the foot up to the ceiling. Point the toe. Draw the leg across. Outside and up. Cross. So you still have that imaginary seatbelt on. Keeping your hips very quiet so that the upper part of the femur is working in that joint. Lots of synovial fluid is warming up and giving you an opportunity to move the joint better. That's the best part of this. It's like instant gratification. Hold it up, flex, and reverse. Very slow. Think about where you're going. Exhale. Do one more. All the way through and then bringing that knee in. Good. So you're holding it there. You're going to take that left hand on the lower part of the left leg, drop your right arm to the ground, and then allow this left leg to open. Feeling a stretch. Good, good. Release it. Come on back. Okay. So let's go back in tabletop. We're going to do what we call a single Bentley stretch. But we're going to do it with our head down and our arms down. So with my arms long, shoulders down, and when I press the shoulder down to the floor, what happens is the middle back wants to lift. So you have to force the middle back down, still gaining strength through your back, okay? So in this position, we're going to extend the leg at a 45-degree, draw it in. Extend, draw it in just to tabletop. Matter of fact, place your hands here. This will just remind you not to bring your knee in tight to your body. Going. One more. Right side. Good. Draw your knees in, and as you do, place your hands below the patella, drawing in and feel. You probably can do this better than you did the first couple of minutes we were going into our Pilates. But now that you're warmed up some, your back is opened. So when you draw your legs towards you, quads rest on the ribs, you can feel how it's opened up. Now open the legs, feel the opening of the lower back and middle back. Not quite up as high as your lats, but at least somewhere in the middle back and below. Good. Okay. So now we're going to go back to tabletop. We're going to add arms to this. So we did our single Bentley where we kicked out. So let's begin with the right side. We're going to keep both our arms beside us. As the right leg goes out to the 45-degree, your right arm is going to go up. Now, this is not something, you don't have to bring the arm all the way overhead. And if you have a shoulder impingement, you can sweep it out to the side instead. So find where you're comfortable. So let's do right side and left, and right and left. Good. Two more. Okay. Drawing the legs in and then drop the feet. I'm sure that you were feeling the pressure of the back with the legs up. And if you did, always take a break. You never have to stay in the position that we're in. If you need to take a break, please take a break. That's the most important part. You can always come back. We're here. So with your arms to the side, just keep your knees together. Let them drop to the right. And when you do, you're stacking your hips. So you're not like that. You're stacking the hip. Inhale. Exhale, bringing those legs to the center as you pull and the back is flat. Inhale to the left. Exhale, center. Inhale. Exhale. Really feel how the hip opens. Feel how the obliques help to lengthen. We talk about our oblique nut muscles, which are waist muscles, and for some of them, when they come into the iliac or the psoas, they come in like your hands are going into the pockets of your jeans. So the connection is different. And that's a good thing. I think God knew what he was doing, and he sure had a good plan. Our bodies are magical. Keep going. And center. Good. All right. Last but not least, on our back, we're going to try this one. You ready? We're going to bring ourselves up into tabletop. Then we're going to extend the legs to the ceiling. So I'm going to create a longer lever with my leg. I'm going to hold behind the right leg. For some of you, lifting your head, neck, and shoulders may work better. Okay. For the others, keeping your head down is going to work for you. So my legs are together. I'm going to release that left leg all the way to the floor. The right leg is up. Taking a deep breath, inhale. As I exhale, I'm going to change my leg. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. So there's a tighter behind my hamstring and my left knee. I can feel it more. So I have to really think to give myself the opportunity to stretch around that joint. I'm feeling it in my hams. I'm feeling it in my quads. And release, head weight down. Okay, you have options to sit up. You can either roll to the side or you can roll up. If you have osteoporosis, you should never roll. Osteopenia, there is a safety. They, whoever they are, those people that make the big bucks, they say it's okay with osteopenia. Okay, so we're seated at the top, our ball. We're going to place it right here into our belly space. And we're going to make our legs wider. So when I was doing my longer lever, my left quadricep, I could really feel it, which means my hamstrings are really tight. So if my hamstrings are tight and my quadriceps are tight, of course, we know that muscles on the side are going to be tight, which also feed into the knee. Okay. So like we have that childhood song about the hip bones connected to the thigh bone. Very true thing. And it's going to run all the way down. So if we keep these spaces more flexible, then we're supporting those joints as well as connective tissue. So with your legs nice and wide, bring the ball in, sit tall, nice and tall. Good. So inhale, and you're looking forward. Think about your chin coming in halfway. So you're not going like this, okay? You're just bowing the head. Then round out the shoulders, but don't round them and lift them. Round them forward and then come into your spine stretch and move out of it. Again, inhale, not bow. A lot of times when we do our spine stretch, we have a tendency to really work through it from a perspective of, I'm coming forward in my C curve in the back. Sometimes I like to come a little bit deeper. So you're working yourself into it. Most important is not to let the shoulders rise up to the ears. Create space there. One more. Spine stretch. And release. Okay. Did you notice as you did it, you could get a little bit farther each time. So shake it out. So with the legs open, it's going to be, it was much, I don't want to say easier. It's less, it's not as tough on the quads and the hams. But with our legs together, you're going to feel this. But just work through it, okay? So pulling in, nice and tight. Lift and shoulders are back and down. Not and down. Feel that spine lengthening. Come on. So as you come up, you're still stacking the vertebra. Making sure one vertebra is on top of the other. Inhale as you lift and feel that exhale. As you come down, inhale, lift. It helps to lengthen you. Exhale down. One more. Hold on. Merry Christmas. Where are you? I'm on Zoom. I don't know who this is. Nora. Nora, hold on.
He's doing a class right now.
Oh, goodbye. Merry Christmas. Okay. Oh no, I got an appointment in 2 minutes. Squash the legs. Sorry, guys. Hold on, Nora. Oh, okay. I have something I want to give to you, so hold on. So lift up real tall. You're going to put your arms out. Spine stretch forward. Stretch, 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 stretch.
What are you doing?
And release.
1 minute.
And again. Spine stretch. And release. And again. Spine stretch. Merry Christmas. Spine stretch. And release it. Good. Shake it out, shake it out. Okay. Place the ball a little bit lower. So funny. Okay. Lift up real tall. Arms are out. We're plugging in. Inhale. Nod, bow, spine stretch here. Same thing. Now you're resisting. You don't want the pubic bone to come forward, which means you're lifting your tailbone forward. You're keeping your sits bones down and your pubic bone rooted to the floor so that you don't shift that whole body forward. See how you're resisting, keeping the back long and the arms extended. And come up, stack the vertebra. That was one of my Pilates clients who came in. She dropped off a gift because she's so sweet. And back and drop. Inhale. Nod, bow. Reach, 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 reach. Sit tall. Drop your shoulders. One more. Reach, 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 reach. And come up, shoulders down. Shake it out, shake it out. Good, good. Okay, so now that you're there, let's take our feet together and hold it here. Good. All right, rock on those sits bones. Feel them nice and tight to the floor. Feel them. Now move these feet a little bit farther away. And then when you come forward, you can feel a different stretch. Feel that? Going more to the outer thighs. Well, for me it is anyway. And then through here. Go to where you're comfortable. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And release it. Sit tall. Okay. So since we're here, we're going to try to do the saw. So the saw motion is meant for a extension. It's an extension. You're not to bounce, even though we do our sawing of the toe. That's working from here, this movement, okay? It's not working from this, okay? You're not pushing and bouncing on the hamstring, okay? That's not what the saw is about. So legs are wide. Come a little wider than your mat. And you're going to sit real tall. Your arms, just let them kind of dangle. I don't like it up here because what that takes is more work. If you're up here, there's a lot going on through the upper part of the shoulder. So let them dangle. Keeping your spine. My goal is always to keep your spine long. So pulling in and lengthening through here, okay? So inhale. You can feel length all the way up. The root, the crown of your head and the roof of your mouth are going up, up. So inhale. Twist, take this right hand outside on the left foot and you're going to saw, but see it's working from here and from here, come up. I'm not dropping my chest. I'm keeping my chest lifted on my saw and come up and twist and reach, 2, 3, come up. Twist, reach, again, keep Keep twisting, keep reaching, keep your chest lifted. I really want you to keep it lifted. I don't want you to drop it. So this is what happens when we drop it. Think about it. Try it. See what happens. When you drop the chest, you're going into back issues here. And even though this is fine for the arm, you're really not getting the appropriate stretch. So here we go. And release it. Good. Okay, legs together. Let's go back to our point and flex. My tree looks much prettier in person. Doesn't really look as pretty on the video there. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this left leg, knee issues. If you have any kind of knee impingements, this is going to be a little bit different. So let's see what you can do. Taking the leg back, okay? So it's to the side. The right leg is out. So you almost feel like you want to go sideways, but you're not. You're going to still stay forward. So right leg is forward, left leg is back. If this is uncomfortable, do this. Put the leg out, okay? Why do I want you to bend the knee? Well, quadricep femur, right? IT band up into the hip flexors and opening through the groin space, okay? It also really sometimes forces us to stretch where we don't like to stretch. Okay, so you're nice and tall, so you're here. We're gonna walk our fingers down that leg, okay? You're gonna hold the fingers there. You're gonna inhale. Now this is not supposed to be something that you force. This is a stretch that you let your body fall into, okay? So inhale, and as you exhale, you can move those spider fingers down a little bit more. Up to you. You may not want to move them at all. You may just want to keep them tight beside the leg where you're sitting. Now let's walk it back. We're just throwing this sucker in for now. Left leg forward, right leg's going to be outside. So I want to stay still on my sits bones. Hands are here. I'm going to walk it. Keep going. We're going to hold that. So stay with that flexed foot, okay, or a pointed toe, whichever you prefer. Inhale. Going. Inhale, exhale. Now, for me right now, this is really tight. This is harder. I feel a tremendous stretch in the back of my left hamstring, connections to my gastrocnemius in the back of my knee. I could feel it in my quadricep. So that's an indication that I got to work harder there. Okay. We're going to flip onto our bellies. So you're going to come down onto your stomach. Okay, you're on your belly. You're going to wiggle yourself around, keeping your chest nice and comfortable. Legs are long. So the first thing I want you to do, draw your arms beside you. You're going to feel how your hip bone here is trying to lift. So I want you to move side to side to draw that hip and that belly space down. Even the pubic bone, get it down there, nice and tight. Okay, and the arms are long. So we're going to take the hands on the lower back. We're going to draw those legs together, and then we're going to turn out into that Pilates V. So we did that on our back. Let's try it here on our belly. So that means heels together, toes are pointed, inner thighs and knees are trying to touch. Boy, that's the toughie. So inhale the upper body and exhale down. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, 2 more. Last one. Very good. All right. Take your hands, palms down. Now, get your feet neutral. They don't have to have the heels together now. So feet are neutral. The front of your feet are flat. Pulling into a Pilates V is a very difficult movement, working the femur here at the top, okay? Good for us though. Don't be afraid to do it. So my elbows are really tucked in tight. My legs are about little less than hip width apart. And I'm really pressing my belly down to the mat. Then I'm contracting my belly as tight as I can. So really pulling it in real tight. Then I'm going to press up and exhale down. Inhale, lift, and exhale down. Inhale, lift, exhale down. Inhale, lift. So try one more. Take it down. Good. Okay. Now you can feel that when you come up into this elbow, the elbows are back behind you, that you're extending, but I'm trying to get you to go to a higher extension. So I'm going to have you move your hands right outside your shoulder space. If you're comfortable, you're going to lift up again. If you want to go to a straight arm, your belly is going to come up off along with the pubic bone. That's fine. Bringing it down slowly. If not, you can bring your hands outside more and come just a little bit where your hips are still on the floor as well as the pubic bone and down. Okay. There are so many options. Please try them. Okay. My only concern, continue to do this while I'm talking. My only concern is that you don't pull your belly in tight enough and that you get some pressure in your lower lumbar. There should be no compression here in this lower back. Okay. So pull that belly in, then lift up.
You're at 11:10, Sheila.
Thank you. Again. Going. One more. And release it. Good. Okay. Letting your upper body just relax onto the floor. Open your legs a little bit wider than your mat this time. Now bend the left leg in with the flexed foot, then point it and drop it. Bend the right leg with a flexed foot, point and drop. So let's just continue to do this. Now, if you have any kind of impingement in your knee, you know who you are and you know what you need to do. I'm sure by this point in time you do. My concern is that sometimes for people who've had any kind of knee issues, recovery asks you to kind of do something like this to help you to recover. So you be real careful when you're bending up. You know where you need to go to. This can be a really nice stretch for the front of your hip flexor. Keep going. Okay, now you're going to bend in the left leg. If you're comfortable, I want you to hold on to the left ankle. If you cannot reach the left ankle, but you still want to do this, go right ahead and put a towel around. Hold on to the end of the towel, okay? If you're forcing this in, you're going to hurt yourself, okay? Listen to your body. This is giving you a great quadricep stretch, and that's supporting both the hip and the knee. It's also giving your hamstring an opportunity to shorten versus lengthen. And each time you inhale and exhale, you can feel how the hip opens in the front. Release. Okay, other side. Holding. Use that breath. Inhale. And feel how that quad just opens up. Feel it all through that leg. And release it. Okay, last but not least. So you're going to take your hands beside you, long. You're going to lift your head, neck, shoulders, and chest. Then you're going to lift your feet and then drop everything together. So let's do this in parcels. First, we're going to lift the upper body. Then we're going to lift the feet. Then we're going to release. Try it again. Inhale. And down. Again. And down. Try one more. And while you're doing this, and release. So while you're doing that, I want you to understand that part of the reason I like you to do it that way is because what I see with people is when they go like this, you're really not focusing on what you need to pull in and keep tight, and you're throwing yourself into a movement which you can actually hurt yourself if you don't watch. Okay. So now hands down, come all the way back. Okay. If you can open your feet or close your feet and open your knees and lift up and come all the way back into a child's pose, this is good enough. You don't have to go flat. This is good enough. Might be difficult because of knee issues, so you may not be able to get even into this position. But if you can move yourself deeper, go for it. I like to cross my arms and rest my head. Cat coming out of it. Good. So we're going to turn around. So I think what I'd like to do is a neck stretch, and then I think we're going to do some weight work today because we didn't get it last time. So seated facing you. You can stay where you are. I'm just trying to face you. For our neck stretch, the first thing I want us to do is if you're here and this is uncomfortable for you, go here. If you're here and this isn't working, go here. Just you can even open the knees more. Just find the place that works for you. I want you rooted down to the floor though. So you're seated nice and high. First thing I want you to do is turn your head and look to your right. Bring yourself back to the center. Turn and look to the left. Come back to center. Keep going. To the right. And come back center. To the left. And come back center. Now, with your chin to your chest, you're not going to dig it in because if my chin comes, this is about how deep I can get my chin without going like this to try to push my chin into my chest. So that is an indication that you don't want to do that. You don't want to push your chin into your chest because then your shoulders come up and you start moving out of alignment. So you want to draw your chin in, roll to the inside of the right, and get nosy here. Look behind you. There's Santa. Hi, Santa. Come forward. Roll to the front. Then to the left side. Go all the way around. And come center. To the right. Now your levators are really, you're feeling a nice stretch. The best part about neck stretching is if you do it, the longer you do it, the more increase in flexibility. Why? Because our necks are a place of protection. You're not going to get the neck to relax after 4 or 5 movements. It takes a while. And lift up. Okay. Last but not least, let's bring the ear towards the shoulder. Now, when we get there, we're not going like this, which we all have a habit of doing, myself included. You want to think, and you're not going to go like this. You're going to let the ear come. That's why mirrors are so cool. Ear towards the chin or towards the shoulder. Feel the length here. And if you're lucky enough to have a partner, they can push down that shoulder. If not, take this arm behind you and feel a stretch. Come out of that. Head is lifted. And to the other side. Take my arm back. So all these neck stretches you can do at home. I know you can. All right, let's get our weights. I thought I brought mine down, but I guess I didn't. Okay, well, it's okay. We can still do it. Here we go. Okay. So we're going to stand with your weights. So feet are flat. They're right about hip width apart. You don't want them to be wide because then what happens is you start to lock out knees and you start throwing your hips forward. So you want your feet about hip width apart. You're going to stand real long. Feel how that crown of your head is lifted. Okay. Soften your knees. So a soft knee means it's not completely bent, but you give it a little bit of give. Okay. Arms to your side. We're going to curl both the arms, then press it up. Bring it back and through. So inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. Good. Doing a great job. Inhale and exhale. Get the length to the arms. Full range of motion is what gets that muscle stronger. Plus, it also gives the joint support. And that's what we're looking for. It's always about support. Taking it down. Okay. So same foot position. You're going to hold on to your weight. And I want you to lift this arm out laterally. So if you notice when I'm at a lateral position, I'm not going up here. Okay. I'm keeping it right below my shoulder, the level of my shoulder. So let's just work one arm. So take it back into you. So when you bring it back in, don't hesitate to contract these muscles. Take it up. So don't get lazy and just think about the arms. Let's think about contracting abdominals, rectus abdominis, keeping your back firm, your feet are flat. You feel strength all through your lower body. Okay, so that was one side. Let's try the other. Two more. Good. All right. Roll out your shoulders. Like really exaggerate your roll. Bringing it forward, taking it back. Good. Taking it forward, taking it back. Okay. So while you're there, you're going to take both hands. We're going to take just the basic curl up and release it. Okay. So basic curl up and release it. So biceps break you, triceps break you. Okay. You're working both parts of the arm, but you're also keeping core nice and strong. Okay. Don't forget. I don't know how you can forget. I keep telling you, right? Keep going. Now keep the arms down. Now what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you bring the arms out here. Okay. So you're going to lift with a curl with the arms to the outside here. Okay. And release. Come up. So you're keeping your elbows close to your body, which is supporting the shoulder girdle. But as you turn that arm out, you can feel the stretch as well as the contraction of the muscle, you know, the bicep up to the front of the shoulder, supraspinatus, which is real important. It's a smaller muscle group there. The supraspinatus and the infraspinatus. And it's hard for me to say that because I have Invisaligns in my mouth. But it's worth a try. And release it. Okay. Turn those hands forward. Let's do an upright row one at a time. Up and down. Up and down. See how you're standing real tall. Okay. Always pulling up. Really keeping those knees soft. Exhale. Good, good, good. Inhale. Inhale. Exhale. All right, both arms down, keeping your shoulders back and down. Let's do both together. When we bring them up in front of the body, we're going to open up a little bit. So open up a little bit here. So that's going to then take it more into your deltoid, into the shoulder. If that's uncomfortable coming up here, then keep it here. Okay, you have an option. So it can be there or it can be here. This outside, it's really not an upright row, but it's in the same family. So we'll just keep it there. One more. And release it. Good. So hold the weights to your side because you want, I'm sure the neck space is starting to feel a little bit tight. Okay. So what you're going to do is let's take that ear to the shoulder again, holding those weights. Inhale, lift. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Inhale, lift. And exhale. Okay, so stretched out a little bit, which is good. So both weights together, bringing it up and over. Real important, keep the knees soft. Bringing the arms back. Notice that my elbows are to the outside. I'm not here. You don't need to be. This is the natural movement of the shoulder girdle. So then you're going to lift your weights straight up, a full extension, and bring them down. Full extension, and bring them down. You're not hitting your back, keeping them away from your back. Straight up, and take it down. Two more. And last one, take it all the way up and release it. Take your arms down. So be real careful. When you come, I prefer instead of going here, bring those weights up and over, okay? Shoulders roll now. Okay, so take your weights and place them down. And we're just gonna roll out the back, okay? So by rolling out the back, we're going to do a simple flexion forward. So your feet are about hip width apart. I just want you to flex forward. So pulling in the belly, keeping it tight. You're moving your hands down the leg. And if you cannot touch the floor, hold on to your body. Okay, we call this a flat back. If you can touch the floor, great. There's no right or wrong here. Remember that. So once you're stretched out, I want you to roll right back up. Bring your shoulders all the way up and bring the arms up. You can stretch the hands and fingers up to the ceiling and release it through. Okay, guys, I think we finished. We got through another day, another week.